Hello there, and welcome to today's review of RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic on the Nintendo Switch. So, buckle up, because we're diving straight into the king of theme park management sims. Let's clear the air. This isn't some dreadful spin-off that uses the name but strips away the magic. It's not the decent yet flawed RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 either. This is a combination of the first two games in the series, enhanced with some modern quality of life features that make the experience smoother than ever. The ability to speed up time? An absolute lifesaver. With RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic on Switch, expectations are sky high, and for good reason. What's the premise? For those unfamiliar, the premise is delightfully simple yet endlessly engaging. You're handed either a plot of land or an existing theme park and tasked with meeting a specific goal. Maybe you'll need to house a certain number of guests, achieve a high park value, or pay off debt left behind by some overly generous park operator who forgot to charge for rides. No matter the objective, the core gameplay revolves around creating an elaborate, exciting, and profitable theme park. You'll fill it with attractions like free-fall launchers, merry-go-rounds, refreshment stands, and of course, roller coasters. The sheer flexibility of what you can create remains unmatched, and even after all these years, RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic blows its competition out of the water with its charm, visual appeal, despite being technically dated, and accessible yet powerful design controls. A wealth of content. The game boasts a staggering 95 scenarios, and that's not even counting the additional 43 extra parks available in the menu. These scenarios are pulled directly from the first two games and their respective expansion packs. Sadly, a few real-world parks, like Alton Towers, are missing due to licensing issues. But honestly, Alton Towers was never my favorite, so I'm not shedding any tears. Even better, this enhanced version includes new scenery for previously barren parks, largely thanks to assets introduced in RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. This makes the scenarios feel fresh without losing their nostalgic essence. The Designer Mode. Another standout feature is the Designer Mode, a sandbox workspace where you can create your own roller coaster designs without worrying about finances or scenario objectives. You can save your creations and use them in your parks later, which adds another layer of satisfaction. Unfortunately, the scenario editor, which allowed players to create and share custom parks in the past, is absent. This omission likely stems from Nintendo's restrictive approach to file imports and exports, but it's still a missed opportunity. The Switch experience now. Let's talk about the Switch-specific elements. The user interface has been completely overhauled to suit the console's twin-stick layout. Initially, moving a cursor with the left stick might seem clunky, but after a short adjustment period, it's surprisingly intuitive. In fact, for building custom rides, I'd argue that it's even more comfortable than using a mouse and keyboard. Being able to relax on a sofa without a mouse precariously balanced on your lap is a game changer. The controls also feature handy shortcuts for switching between path tiles, track pieces, and rotation tools, reducing reliance on the cursor. However, there are some quirks. For example, the map, located in the top right corner, lacks a shortcut. This forces you to drag the cursor to it manually, which can feel tedious. A customizable control scheme would have been a nice touch here. Performance-wise, the game runs smoothly at the default zoom level, even in busier parks. But as soon as you zoom out, things take a turn for the worse. The frame rate drops noticeably, and panning the camera exacerbates the issue. It's puzzling considering that the original game could run on hardware far less powerful than the Switch. While it's not game-breaking, it's a blemish on an otherwise polished experience. Another oddity is the lack of touch controls. Given that this version originated as a mobile game in 2016, the absence of touchscreen functionality on the Switch feels baffling. It's not a deal breaker, as the controller inputs are well designed, but it's a missed opportunity to leverage the Switch's hybrid capabilities fully. What really matters? At the end of the day, once you're engrossed in building a custom looping coaster or managing guest satisfaction in a bustling park, the small inconveniences melt away. There's a timeless joy in crafting an attraction with an excitement rating over 7 and watching tiny pixelated guests flock to it in droves. Open RCT 2. A quick aside, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Open RCT 2, the community-driven project that enhances the original games with even more features. While Open RCT 2 remains the ideal way to experience RollerCoaster Tycoon, the Switch version made me forget about those extras for a moment because the base gameplay is just that good. If you're craving more customization options, Open RCT 2 is worth exploring. But for sheer convenience and accessibility, RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic on Switch is hard to beat. Ooh. Final thoughts, roller coaster. Tycoon Classic retains its title as the king of theme park sims. It's not without its flaws, like performance dips and missing features, but these issues pale in comparison to the sheer fun and creativity the game offers. The transition to Switch is largely a success, thanks to smartly designed controls and the enduring appeal of the core gameplay loop. Whether you're a longtime fan like me or a newcomer, curious about this iconic series, RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic on the Nintendo Switch is a must-play. So grab your hard hat, fire up the console, and get ready to build the theme park of your dreams. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content.